So I speak a lot about the importance of consistency and why you need to really focus on that as something to continue to build on. Consistency is one of the most important things. And, sometimes we even take it as a cliche when it's like, oh, you need to be consistent, you need to be disciplined. But all those things really count. But the thing that I suppose no one really addresses when it comes down to consistency is that consistency is boring. Consistency is boring. Consistency isn't something that is particularly fun. No one likes the idea of consistency because it requires you to have to think beyond where you're currently at and then think long term in terms of where you want to be. And throughout my sort of career, consistency has always been an important factor in my life, but it was something that I understood wasn't going to be exciting. And when it comes down to running a business or, being an entrepreneur, solopreneur, founder, whatever one of those particular ones that you fall within, you will realize that there's many losses slash lessons, because you know what I say, a loss is not a loss, it's always a lesson. But through that, there's always the L's that you have to go through and you have to accept and take. And more often than not, there'll be more L's than wins. And when you get to that point of understanding that, you then understand that when you do fall into an opportunity where it is a W, where it is a win, you mark that as something and you celebrate, you document that as something that is a reminder of why you keep pursuing and why you keep doing the things that you do. Consistency for me, as you may or may not know, I'm always dropping weekly blog content, weekly articles. I've moved over to Substack as of recent. Check the description box below if you want to have a look through some of my written content. But from the 7th of August, 2024, if I check my calendar, that has to be a Wednesday. But every single Wednesday from that day, I've been writing content and sharing it. I'm sharing it on my website and now I'm sharing it on Substack. That element of being able to do that is not fun, but it's something that I find interesting. I find it inspiring and I find it informative. The inspiring part is because I know that with me writing and sharing my real life experiences and sharing my story with you all, it's only going to inspire and hopefully provoke action for you guys to also do the same and to also find your medium. And like I said, writing just happened to be my medium. It happened to be one of my first particular interests and something that I always looked at as a form of therapy, just to be able to, get from pen to paper and really write about the things that's going in your head, that's going through your mind. And for me, when I'm like clogged up and my brain is like really filled up with so much things I need to do or things I need to remember or all that sort of stuff, writing and the element of literally putting pen to paper is so therapeutic for me. And it really just empties my head with everything. So now I just have more clear thoughts and I'm able to kind of work better in that sense. But then, although it is therapeutic in that sense, I still need to go through the process of getting the content done and getting the articles published the day that I said without a shadow of a doubt that it's going to be up there. And through that part is the boring part, because no one really sees the parts when you are effectively writing that content late at night, or you're just covering different things, or you're doing the research to reinforce what you're talking about, or just the process of just having a full sort of schedule so you have an understanding of what you're going to be covering, or having a look at sort of awareness days and seeing what you can align and what you can hook with particular sort of written content so it makes sense for your audience as well and it resonates with them in a better way. And that stuff is boring. It's boring, and that's the reason why you need to do it. You need to go through the process of developing those systems and doing the work, because like I said, no one is going to be thinking to do it, or no one's going to be willing to do it. And that's your competitive edge. That's where you step up and you realize like these are the things that you can do in order to help yourself stand out. And that's the reason why I have transitioned and moved that same work ethic over to YouTube, because I realized that with me doing daily YouTube uploads and doing that daily YouTube content, it's going to be very hard to avoid me. It's going to be very hard to you know, not see what I'm working on and not seeing what I'm doing. And the process is boring. You have to firstly record the content, and I suppose the recording part is the most fun part because I get to speak with you guys directly and I get to really just talk and share my experiences, share my thoughts, share my real life sort of moments with you. But once I stop the camera and I stop pressing record and it's done, I have to get through the process of then editing the content, having a look through to make sure the timestamps are good, making sure that the title is nice and good enough in terms of you guys even wanting to be interested to click it in the first place. I need to make sure the descriptions are on point. I also need to make sure that the thumbnails are good. I need to make sure that the thumbnails are designed in a way that makes the most sense. And like there's so many different layers to it. And that's why I'm building the systems. I built my first initial system, which I'm going to be sharing with you guys. If you click on the description box below, click the link. And right now I'm building on that systems. I'm building that document that you guys will have access for free to learn how you're able to build your personal brand through YouTube, through posting that daily video content. And even if you don't want to do daily YouTube content, you don't have to do daily YouTube content if you don't want to. You can do it weekly, you can do it bi-weekly, whatever works in terms of your life and your commitments and what other stuff you have going on. But I assure you that you need to be jumping on this video thing regardless. But with that, it's boring in that sense. It's continuous. And when you get to that point of doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, it can be boring. It can be a bit like, what's the point? Why am I doing this? But then you have to realize that through that consistency, at the end of the tunnel is that the part where you call success. And when you reach that level, you will know about it. But then until then, you just need to keep going at it and keep going at it. And with it being boring, you need to find the fun in the process as well. I would definitely say that. Find the areas where you find fun in it and make it fun. My level of, I suppose, doing this content, the most fun part I would say for me is actually doing the thumbnails, because I get a chance to show more creativity through what I'm talking about and through what I wanted to kind of put forward for the actual conversation at hand as well. And it's a skill that I've been able to just put together. And I have experience doing a lot of graphic design work. So just kind of putting that together really just brings me back, I would say, to my youth when I was doing a lot of that sort of creative content and then being able to put that together. So I find a lot of fun in that part in particular, being able to develop those thumbnails. But then through that, it's just about having the process that makes it easier for you to get through the fact that there's days where it's going to just be boring and you can't be bothered to do it. And most importantly, as far as consistency goes and as far as it being boring, think of it as something that you need to do in order to thank your future self for. Thank your future self. Or is it, no, matter of fact, it's your future self thanking you currently. It's your future self that will be thanking you for all the times that you were working towards this thing. And I suppose with that part, it's all about the delayed gratification. And not many people really believe in the element of delayed gratification because, truth be told, you don't necessarily know what is at the end once you get it done. But I assure you that you just getting in the process of doing it and working is going to be a lot better for you than not doing it at all. And as I said in one of my previous videos where I referenced Myron Golden, all work works. It either works on you in terms of you being able to learn from that and you build a lot of perseverance through it, more discipline, more consistency, as I mentioned, to get you to that next stage that makes the most sense. Or it works for you it actually works in your favor, and it takes you to a whole new level and a whole new height. But you wouldn't have known had you not started in the first place as well. So you have to be accepting that consistency isn't fun. Consistency is boring. However, consistency is that sort of annoying brother, I would say. And I'm saying that in perspective of me being perceived as an annoying brother, as my sister would probably think. But that level of consistency is that annoying brother that's always giving you that nudge to just be like, you need to do this, you need to do that. Because ultimately it reinforces in your head. And then when you start doing on autopilot and you start to find it a lot more easier to do, then you make it more interesting for yourself. You make it a lot more interesting where you learn more from it. At this moment in time, as I'm doing more video content, when I have a bit more time, I'm kind of doing a lot more of the editing process as well, and adding a few images and different things within the video just to make it more interesting as well. Because as much as I'm dropping that real insight and those real gems with you, I suppose that for some of you who are watching this content and actually watching it throughout the whole process, you may want to see some other bits to it rather than just me just talking directly at you, you know what I mean? So it's all a work in progress, and you got to take it each day at a time when it comes down to that level of consistency as well. But most importantly, I think the last thing I want to talk about is that you need to have an understanding of what your future looks like through you putting in this work and with you having that level of consistency. With me saying to the universe and to the world and YouTube that I'm building a £1 million personal brand, I know exactly what that looks like. I know I can hear it, I can smell it, I can taste it, I can literally hear it. Like all of the sort of emotional ties to my sort of end goal, I know what it is like. Exactly, like, it may sound mad, but I know exactly what the feeling is, which allows me to just always hone in on that level of consistency because I know where it's going to lead to. And I think it's virtually impossible to be in a position where you show a level of consistency for say 1,000 days and nothing comes from it. I would say it's virtually impossible. It's not impossible, but it's virtually impossible, because for you to be with you to be able to show that much dedication and that level of consistency for so long is only going to inspire and to make people realize and understand how serious and committed you are at the thing that you said. And I suppose nothing is better than being a person of your word and saying what you mean and meaning what you say. So through that level of consistency, it's going to be long, it's going to be somewhat an bumpy road, there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be hurdles, but it's in your best interest if you really want to get to that next stage in your life or your career or your business or your relationships, whatever it is, all it comes down to is that level of consistency. You have to keep going, no matter when the days are looking rubbish, whether it's not looking like you can be bothered or you can't be asked. I hear you. Whenever you think, and I want you guys to remember this part if you got to this part of the video, when you're there doing the work and you're getting on with what you're doing as well, always remember that I'm holding you accountable because I know you're holding me accountable. And with you holding me accountable, I'm putting in this work every single day. Every video I'm dropping because I know that you guys are holding me accountable, and I don't want to let you down. I don't want to let you down, so don't let me down, please. Like, don't let yourself down, yeah? But just know, whatever you're doing, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm working. I'm getting the stuff done. Trust me, believe me. So I want you to realize, and with that, just know that we're in this together with that level of consistency and that level of commitment. We're locked in 1,000 days. Every single day we're doing this and we're doing it properly. So show that level of consistency. Find the fun in the elements where you may find boring, and just switch it up from time to time as well. And you'll get to your destination guaranteed. But make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bless up, man. Look after yourself.